Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan and I so appreciate your support of the channel. Okay, my last video was on the biggest tank in my fish room, and now I am looking at the newest and smallest tank in my fish room. This is a 5-gallon rimless aquarium from Aquariums. I got it at Petco during their half off sale, so really cheap. And I was able to manipulate some space down here on the lower row. I moved the brine shrimp hatchery around and shuffled some things and created this wonderful little space down here for this tank, which right now is serving as a grow out tank for the many various plants I have in other aquariums. These are tops from, let's see, we've got Ludwigia repens back there. We've got, I think that's Rotala indica, Pogostemon octopus, a little bit of Hygrophila pinnatifida. I wrapped some Christmas moss around these 4 pieces of lava rock. And in the center, I've got the H-Ra and I think some very fine strands of Rotala Wallachia, I think. And then these are, and I don't give them much chance, but these are Blixa japonica, those two sort of like, the fronds, the grass-like plants. They really do need CO2, and so frankly do some of these other plants. But this is an experiment to see with highlight and a simple sponge filter, 78 degrees and no fish, just some aqua soil below and gravel up top to see what I can do, see what I can accomplish, see if I can grow these plants up to the top. If they start to fade or wilt or get brown because I'm not running CO2, I can always abort. And this is going to be likely a quarantine tank of sorts. It's a little small, but it's kind of all the room I got. I almost got a 10-gallon, and that would have been just too much. I'm running this, I have this really neat little tower here for plugging stuff in, and it really is nice because it's vertical. And so I don't have well, I have plenty of cords along the bottom, but it really does help organize. And I've got some of the stuff in these tanks attached into it. You can see one, and trust me, there's a nice one up there too, as well as the brine shrimp hatchery, and then all the hardware that's in this tank. And there's still some plugs to spare, and there's plugs on all sides, so it's pretty cool. You just go on Amazon if you're interested and Google, appropriate term, and you'll start to see them. I don't know the exact brand name. I think it's sort of a white label Chinese offering, but it's working really well and I'm happy. So let me backtrack a little bit with these plants. There's a likelihood I got the name of 1 or 2 of them wrong or butchered them completely. I know what these plants are by sight, and I know what they require, and I'm familiar with them from my experience having them in my other tanks. I just always screw up the names, unfortunately, that's just the way it is with me. My wife always is like, how come you can't remember people's names? I'm like, I know who they are. Names are something that it's always been a foible of mine. I suck at it, to be honest with you. And I've hurt some people's feelings, I'm sure. I mean, hey, you can only work a few dozen times at work before people start to think you're an asshole. And I've been accused of worse. So that's just an admission of my own shortcomings coming, but the names of these plants, I always mess them up. I can never get the Hygrophila P right, even though it's one of my favorite plants. By the way, I'm trying to grow it as the stem style as opposed to an epiphyte. There's no hardscape in here, so I just stuck 2 cuttings into the substrate. We'll see what happens. I don't hold out a lot of hope for that, and I don't hold out a lot of hope for this H-rod, those fronds with the red tips. I do hold out a lot of hope for the Rotala indica green back there. It just grows and grows. Now, again, all these plants came from tanks with CO2, so I'm not sure how they're going to adjust to no CO2. And I have enough random equipment where I could actually put CO2 in this tank, but I don't feel like kneeling down and adjusting one of those little Fluval kits every day to turn it up and on and tweak it to get the bubbles right. So if a couple of these plants thrive, then I'm gonna go with those and pull the rest. And I'll call it a quarantine tank, or maybe I'll put some very small nanofish in here, and maybe even a shrimp tank, I don't know. But it's fun to have that option. But right now I'm excited to see if this sort of jerry-rigged Wallstead aquarium, the Wallstead method, is a dirted tank with gravel or sand on top or both, and that's it, right? And you just put the plants in. You don't even have a filter in the true Wallstead method. That's a simple sponge back there. Some people do it without heaters, without anything, honestly, but I've got, except for a light, of course. You gotta have a light, and you gotta have dirt or a fertile substrate. And so that's what I'm doing with this. Kind of a boring video, I must say, and I do apologize, and I appreciate your patience with me. And I want to see where this goes and what I decide to do with it and what the plants tell me to do with it. So that's the video for this evening. If you have any thoughts about what I could do with this tank or observations, please by all means hit me up. I will answer every question, and I will take criticism like a champ. I'll tell you right now, I used the remainder of my Fluval stratum beneath this gravel. I wish I had a couple pounds more, because honestly, I'm pushing my luck in terms of giving the plants enough space for roots. On the back it's okay, you can see it's at 2-3 inches, but it gets pretty thin towards the front. That's why I think this Blixa japonica is doomed. But the moss is gonna do well. I just wrapped it with green thread, and in a week, there are gonna be these 4 wonderful puff balls of Christmas moss. I don't know what I'll do with them besides leave them in there, but that's the other thing I could do with this tank. I know I'm supposed to say goodbye, but I started my farewell, my out, if you will, and now here I am talking. One other idea I have for this tank is to maybe capture a couple of these white clouds that are in the tank above it, a big fat female and a couple males, and see if they won't finally do their nookie on those puff balls of Java moss when they grow out, because I can't get the spawn from them up here. I see the behavior sometimes, but not really that much, and given how gravid some of these females are, you can make out that plump one right there and one behind her. I can't believe I'm not getting spawning behavior in that tank, and it's a very healthy tank, so go figure. But maybe if I just put 3 of those individuals in here, I'll have success, and that would be exciting, because then I could add some more of those lovely European strain white clouds into the above tank and build out this school even further with my own progeny. Wishful thinking. So, all right, everybody, if I don't talk to you by New Year's, have a great one. May 2023 be fantastic for you. And again, thank you for your support. Ciao for now.